Hello. Thank you so much for inviting us, me, Rick, and our colleagues Sonia and Bella. Today I will talk about part of a big project, a very ambitious project called Resknotec. My colleague Rick Duque already introduced the meaning of the acronym, and what I really would like to talk about is the origin of this project. The last year, exactly 1 year ago, I was visiting a researcher at the Department for Social Studies of Science in Vienna, at the University of Vienna, and I was, starting meeting people in the corridors of the department. And once I met Rick, and he told me that he was working on this very interesting project about studying ICT and resilience in Chile. And so I said, Rick, we in Italy, the last year, we had a huge earthquake, completely destroying a university city in central Italy. So the origin of the project is really much an encounter in Rick's room at the department. And so then we started to develop ideas about how to face this issue of the resilience, ICT resilience. So we got some keywords. And we started to really build a very ambitious project about how to study the resilience in terms of ICT, and also about the societal issues in case of earthquakes. So we started to find points in common among several points in the world having the same problems. And so we found several cases. Like, of course, Chile and L'Aquila, which were the countries from where we started. And then also Pakistan and Indonesia. And, okay, now, of course, we can develop even the project touching other parts of the world, like Haiti and Japan, of course.
Right, and thank you so much for that. And I share the same sort of experience with Federica that we met over coffee in our institute. And we decided to look at how we could work together to look at these two cases, Chile and L'Aquila, just beginning with that. And just a little background on Chile is I had done my doctoral work in Chile, in Concepcion, and it just so happened that an earthquake hit in that area in February 2010. And I was already scheduled to go to Chile and to interview scientists on how the global economic crisis was impacting their experience in research and in science. And now I had this other thing I could ask them about, how the earthquake had impacted them. And that's really what sparked this sort of collaborative interest to work with Federica and her group, who had already been working in L'Aquila, her group from Ica Blue. And so it was the perfect beginning of a natural collaboration to see what we could learn about these two cases. And then while we were doing it, an earthquake hit New Zealand in Christchurch. And then we realized this is more than just a coincidence of two places. It's happening in another place right now. And then a little research uncovered a case in Pakistan where this community there had also been hit at the University of Kashmir. And so we have now developed a variety of different cases that we can look at and see if we can approach them not only from the tools that we bring to research, this package of science and technology concepts, but also realizing that this was a bigger issue than just social science. It included people that were doing engineering, computer sciences, geology, and also institutes like the institute in Bologna that Romano works in, this Volcanology Institute, which is already a multidisciplinary group already of historians, geologists, and engineers. And so we realized that we could possibly network this multidisciplinary group, both in Chile and L'Aquila, and with European universities who are interested in doing this. With the main issue, because obviously if anyone's been to Vienna, I don't think anyone can say Vienna is a very scary place. It's not a disaster-known place. They do have some issues with the river, with the Danube. But for the most part, it's a safe place. And so the question is, why would anyone study disasters from this place? But our point has always been that right now, disasters are impacting certain regions of the world, which include developing countries. and they may not be impacting places like Vienna or Brussels. But if climate change continues and energy resources dwindle as people predict they will, the knowledge we learned from L'Aquila, Concepcion, Christchurch, Kashmir, they might lead to the technologies of resilience that people use in about 40 years in Vienna when the climate is not as predictable and energy sources are not as predictable. And that's what made it imperative to get partners on, and we were able to get University of Maastricht aboard and University of L'Aquila with our visit in July. And that's sort of where we are right now.